did you pick the Knicks? I picked the Knicks in 7. Did you pick the Knicks over the Sixers or not?
Yes, I was with you on that.
They're up 1-0, Rob. And I think we both said, look, if Joel Embiid were healthy, we would have picked the Sixers. But, of course, he's not. Now, he did play 37 minutes, 29 points, 8 boards, 6 dimes. And, Rob, the Sixers were plus 14 in the 37 minutes he played, but minus 21 in the 11 minutes that he didn't play. And therein lies the problem. And, Rob, he's playing tonight. There were question marks about him playing. He kind of re-injured his knee, did a great play, threw the ball off the glass in traffic, caught it, dunked it, but came down, I guess, awkwardly and left the game for a little while, but came back and finished up and played, as I said, played 37 minutes. So he was fine throughout the game, but he was a question mark. He is playing, and Tyrese Maxey was ill or has an illness, but he's playing through it, probably the flu or something like that. But, Rob, if I was the Sixers, I would be so frustrated with Joel Embiid. And they're legitimate injuries most of the time. The knee, he's got a meniscus, he had surgery. Like, it's not like he's faking or anything. It's not like he's just soft. But he's never healthy at this time of year. And, Rob, we've talked about a lot of guys that fade in the playoffs. Of course, James Harden, most notably. We'll get to D'Angelo Russell with the Lakers, although he's not on these guys' level. But Joel Embiid, Rob, check this out. In his last 10 playoff games that he's played in, or I should say 9 that he's played in, he has only shot 50% or better once.
That's mind-boggling.
He's a 7'2", 7 feet, whatever he is, 300 pounds. And I do think, Rob, we've talked a lot. Last year's scoring average went down 10 points in the playoffs. But I'm going to be honest, I think a lot of it, and this is at this point, it's not like this is protecting him. I do think, though, a lot of it is he's always banged up. Like tonight he's playing, but what is he? 70%, 75%. And I said last week, Rob, it's at the point where I just bake in Joel Embiid being hurt in the playoffs. Now, he may play. Generally, he'll miss a game or two. The only one time in his several years in the playoffs, Rob, has he ever played every playoff game, and that was in 2020, but they only played 4 games. They got swept by Boston. And every other year, he's missed at least a game or two. But, Rob, even the games he plays, he's banged up. And so I'll be honest, if I were the Sixers, and because I don't think they're going to win this series with him, he'll probably miss a game or so. And I think they'll lose the series just because he's not able to be at his best. But, Rob, the Sixers have tons of money under the salary cap this year. I mean, they could actually, I think, sign close to 2 max players. At least 1, and then they'll have plenty left after that. If I weren't in that position and I were the Sixers, I probably would start shopping Joel Embiid. And even because the reason I won't now is because I want to see, can we add, maybe trade, when you're that far under the cap, you can make, really, it helps you with trades too. So can we trade for a Donovan Mitchell? Can we sign a Paul George? I don't think they'll go after LeBron necessarily, but if I was just trying to win it next year, go all in, I would go after him. I don't think he'll go there, but my point is, Rob, I want to see what I can get to put around Embiid this summer. But even that being the case, Rob, my phone is call me. Some other team out there, any of you teams, call me. I'll listen, and I'll listen in earnest. I'm not saying I'll trade him. I'm not saying I'll do anything like that, but call me, and let's see what you're willing to offer. Because, Rob, I just don't think, and I'm not even blaming it on him, but I don't think he's going to be healthy at this time of year, ever.
It's hard for you. I hear your case you're making, but to think somebody will never be healthy, and the whole idea, if you're the Sixers, you're not trying to win 10 NBA championships. You're just trying to make one. You're trying to win one to justify everything that's going on. You're trying to be like, trust the process, and they didn't trust the process, and they've made a lot of changes, and people
He's
came
like
and
the
went.
only one left.
I know the process is on a wobbly leg, right, Chris? Now, but you get my point. Is it's about trying to win a championship.
No, I agree.
And if you can just hold out hope, it's like the Clippers, the Kawhi thing.
Yeah, it's very similar.
It really is. Like the Kawhi thing is like, dude, they could have easily not signed him, Chris. We know they're moving into $1 billion arena.
Do you think they should have,
that.
not to get off on the big tangent, but I don't think they should have signed him.
I think they should have. I do. And only because you keep saying this can't happen forever. Like there's going to be a year, he's not an old guy, where he's going to be healthy and we'll have a real shot to win. And if you're the Clippers with that organization, to have a player of that ilk who it's not like he's not playing because he don't want to play. This is the most unbelievable thing. And the same thing with Joel Embiid. Because we see him, Chris, when he plays, he's great. He's a guy that you look at him and say, with the right stuff around him, he can win a championship for us. But then come postseason time, he's not right. And then he shrinks as well. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Do you think, I can't honestly say he shrinks because I don't know. I think a lot of it is he's never 100%. Now, you may be right, too. It's on the table, but
well, if you're out there playing, and we talk about all the time, if you're hurt and if you hurt your team, sometimes you have to step to the side if you really can't, play.
And he doesn't hurt him, but he's just not what
he's used to. I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that they can move that route. That they are going to ride.
Well, how many teams do you think would, like, he's got 3 years, about $165 million left on his contract anyway. So it's not like it's going to be easy to move anyway.
Right.
And again, I'm not shopping him. I'm just open to listening. Maybe somebody will blow my socks off.
Right.
I don't want to, but and here's why I say I don't think he'll be healthy. Because he's 30. Same with, what is Kawhi, about 32 now, 33? Like, you don't get healthier as you get older, right? It's one thing if he were 25 and you'd be like, yeah, he's going to keep getting older, of course. But still, he's a young man. He could get a lot better. Kawhi is about to turn 33 in June. They're not going to get healthier.
No, I get it. But if you're Ballmer, Chris, with the Clippers, the owner, and you're like, he's 33, can I get me a championship? I built this I just want one. And if Kawhi, okay, not healthy this year, maybe he's healthy later on, whatever, I don't know. But if we win next year in the new building and he's healthy, it'll be all worth it for him. Because, you got to try to sell tickets with marquee players. It's a business, right?
How to sign Paul George.
We always talk about it. But Paul George isn't as big of a draw. I don't think
he's not as good, but
right?
he's more dependable,
more
reliable. And he got his issues too.
Right.
And then I'm watching Harden. If Harden plays well during this series, and we'll get into him too, I would bring him back. But like Kawhi, it's not like I wouldn't have wanted to bring him back.
No, I
get it. But how about a 1-year deal? How about a 1 year and a team option?
Good luck. I hear you.
Well, okay, let's see who else.
What you're talking about makes good business sense, but it doesn't work like that. And you know it. I mean, we talk about all the time. about those 1-year deals and have to prove it or whatever. There's just
we thought it would. I thought that with Kyrie, that's what they should have done.
right, but
to Kyrie's credit, he's been great.
But there's always somebody who's going to give him the
court.
years. You know what I mean? It's just that's the
Let me say this last thing too about Embiid, Rob, because we know he's a great jump shooter. I've always wanted him to go down low more, but I accept. I mean, he is a phenomenal jump shooter, particularly in the mid range. So I accept that that's a huge part of his game. But I do think, Rob, if as big as he is, probably moving on the perimeter the way he does puts more, stress on his joints with that size. I mean, he's not just tall. He's like big. And if he would go down on the block more and not have to, it's not like I expect him to just dunk on everybody like Shaq did, but just with his size, he can get the space down there, some jump hooks here and there. You don't have to run as much. You don't have to move as much. You're going to be getting fouled. Like, I would like to see him do more of that. Because I think that will help him health-wise. But, I've been saying that for years, not so much because of his health, but just because I think he'd be effective, obviously, down there. But now I'm saying it because of his health, because hopefully it would take some of the wear and tear off.